So hello and welcome to the Agile Hive Cloud review for February 2026. This is the first review for 2026. So from our side, Happy New Year to you. First off, we're going to start with some general updates around about Agile Hive. As you probably have noticed, we have a new time slot for our review. We now hold this review every first Tuesday of the month at 15:30 Central European Time. So that means the next review is going to be on March 3rd, 2026. You can add an ICS file to your calendar that will give you all the review appointments in your calendar when you visit the link on the top here. Also, follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube, where we will also post the review video that we are currently recording here afterwards for you to rewatch or to share with your colleagues. So, as usual, I'm going to give you a hint to our blog at agilehive.com/blog, where you can always read new posts about Agile Hive and SAFe in general. And we know that Agile Hive might be a quite complex app that needs a little bit more than a 30-day free evaluation period. So if you want to extend this 30-day period, please reach out to us via our help desk, and we'll gladly extend this period for another 30 days. So now we're coming up to the product updates, or what the team has been up to in the last about 2 months, because as I said, we just didn't have a review in January. That would have been the 1st of January. So don't expect that anyone was working there. All right. Our goal is it to provide new releases on a regular basis. Usually we want to build a new release every Tuesday of the month. Not quite work. We released 6 new versions in the meantime, and I'm going to present to you now what was in those 6 versions. First off, we added a custom Agile Hive filter option to our planning board, to our roadmaps, and on our unplanned issues backlog. But we are currently working on implementing this on the issue list and also on the art planning board as well. So this will give you the option to click on the More Filters button in the respective view. This will open a drop-down with Agile Hive specific filter options that you would normally have to enter manually in the JQL filter, filtering the visible data on the board. For example, you can filter for specific issue types that you want. We will show all the issue types that Agile Hive provides in this drop-down here. And you can also link different fields together. For example, I entered the word update in the text filter here, and still looking for only issues of the type enabler. And this will filter my board down to just issues that show that are in the respective issue type and have the word update somewhere in its text fields. You can see the copy JQL button down here. This will give you the opportunity to copy the filters that you've just entered via the drop-downs and add them to any JQL field in Jira that you want to. For example, our JQL filter here, but also the search filter in the general Jira view. Then a second, an improvement, or small feature in Agile Hive as well on the team planning board. When you had a filter active, for example, in the text JQL filter here, or via our just presented extended filters dialog, it was not possible to create new work items when this filter was active. Now it is possible to create a new work item, even though you have or you view a filtered version of the board. Even if the newly created issue will not match the criteria of the filter, it will still be visible until you reload the board or until you rewrite the filter or change the filter. So moving over to some improvements. Our art planning board and also our report calculation are now handled in the UI instead of asynchronously relying on the asynchronously calculated custom fields that we had before. This was, as you might remember, due to the rate limit errors that we received and the data not being calculated reliably every time, and shifting the calculation back towards the UI, towards the browser of the user, gives us more reliability. Gives us more reliability. As you can see here, this affects the representation of the art planning board, where all the issues are placed in which iteration, but also the dependencies that you see on the board, they are all now calculated on the page load. And the same is true for our report pages, the aggregation of the story points and the PI overview, as well as the dependencies that you can see on the reports. And we are currently also working on porting that to the solution level reports as well. Speaking of the aforementioned asynchronously calculated custom fields, in the last review, we added this, this hint message if a custom field, one of these asynchronously calculated custom fields, was not calculated correctly. We added a warning message that will show the reason why it was not calculated. This is now also true for the estimated completion date and also the last iteration custom fields, as well as the involved units and PI involvement custom fields. Also regarding rate limit errors, we improved the retry handling for asynchronously calculated custom fields, but also other parts of our view that ran into rate limits errors in the past. We improved the retry handling that might increase the time up until the data is calculated, because we now give the mechanism more time between the calls to recover from the rate limit that it ran into, and then retry the calculation again. As well as improved reporting for rate limits in our UI. I also have a little picture here that you might encounter once one of the UI functions, for example, the navigation, the Agile Hive navigation on the left part of your screen, ran into a rate limit error. Now this error, this message or this image will be shown, giving you the reason why you can't see the data right now, especially the rate limit error 429. Not only the 429 errors kept us up at night. No, it's a bit of a euphemism. But we fixed several issues with other 400 and X errors, like 401, 404, 403, in our application that we could see in the logs, and we added improved error handling for these kinds of errors as well. As well as we fixed several issues with the unplanned issue backlog. For example, when you moved issues from the board back into the backlog, the update, the issue counter would not update, or the issue would not be replanable again. These kinds of errors, we fixed them in our backlog as well. Are there any questions to what you have just heard or seen? All right, then let's move on to our current roadmap. Yeah, start of February, we are currently working on tackling the rate limit problems, still tackling the rate limit problems. We are now rebuilding, or we are near the end of rebuilding our reports and our boards within Agile Hive. And hand in hand with that goes the publication of the solution train reports, because previously they heavily relied on those asynchronously calculated custom fields. And we are now switching them to the mentioned synchronous calculation on the page load again. Also, as you have just seen, we are currently extending the extended filtering options that I've presented to you to the other boards in Agile Hive as well. And we are currently working, or we started working on showing you external dependencies on our boards, the team art planning board and the reports. And later on, we're going to think about how we want to display external dependencies on the roadmap as well. I'm going to give you a short sneak peek into the current state of the implementation for the team breakout board in a minute. And we are currently working on the migration path from Agile Hive Data Center to cloud. Also, there's going to be a little sneak following in about a minute. And when we especially when we finished with the rebuilding of the reports, we are going to start working on improving our roadmap, which is currently only spanning about 2 PIs into the future. And we are going to implement kind of an infinite scrolling mechanism so that you can plan even years ahead in the future if you want to. As well as a custom field mapping for the Agile Hive custom fields, in case you have custom fields that are quite similar or fulfill a similar purpose to the ones that we are using in Agile Hive. We want to give you the opportunity to map your existing custom fields to the custom fields that we are using, so that you can use your previously entered data. So a little sneak peek here with our team breakout board. As you can see here, we are now displaying teams with which have external dependencies to issues from teams within the currently displayed art. We are displaying them as an individual swim lane. Of course, each team will have one swim lane, even if they have multiple external dependencies, obviously, and not just one swim lane for each dependency, obviously. We are presenting these in the style that we would present dependencies between teams or between issues of the same team as well. So, I saw clapping hands there, nice. And the second sneak peek that I mentioned earlier is in regards to the Agile Hive migration. In November, we released an export of the project hierarchies in our Agile Hive Data Center app, where you could export your project hierarchies into a JSON file. And we now implemented a new tab in our Agile Hive administration, giving you the chance to import this JSON file into Agile Hive Cloud. And if you have already migrated your Jira projects and issues from Data Center into your cloud instance, it can rebuild the project hierarchy structure that you had in Data Center in Agile Hive Cloud, thus reducing the manual work that you would have to do up until now to recreate your project hierarchy structure. Yeah, this leads to the end of our review for today. Do you have any questions regarding what you've just seen? Okay, right. Then I'd like to. I hope I will see you again in about a month's time on March the 3rd. For our Agile Hive review for, March, obviously. Up until then, as I said, please follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube to see the new review videos or other videos around Agile Hive and Safe that we post there, as well as, if you haven't done it already, import the ICS file for upcoming reviews when you follow this link here. Up until then, I would say bye-bye.